Day 30. Welcome back everyone that has joined this 30-day challenge of me posting every day on YouTube as I'm launching this YouTube channel. And a warm welcome to any new viewers that are sort of joining us on this video. My name is Tanya, I'm 52 years old and I live on the east coast of Scotland, and this channel is for me to create a community tribe of people that are looking to develop their lives through self-development, education, learning and growing through the human experience, and in doing so also be able to promote a little bit more my online business, which I talked a little bit about in yesterday's video, day 29. And today, the aim that I'm actually of this, the whole 30-day coming to an end, is about me sharing all the lessons that I've gained over the past 30 days. So first of all, massive congratulations to everyone for joining the 30-day challenge. If you've watched all the videos, thank you very much for the support. Even if you just dipped in and out, that's really good. Thank you. So pat on the back for me for actually stepping out of my comfort zone and doing this 30-day challenge, because the easiest, quickest way for me to learn was to show up consistently every single day and be brutally honest with myself in terms of what I was feeling, the lessons that I was sort of like seeing from my kind of past life story, and at the same time insights that I was gained by self-reflecting on how did I feel after I posted the video vlogs, and little checkpoints as I was going along. So I feel so much more comfortable being in front of the camera now, having done the 30-day challenge. I've noticed a lot of things, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to mention all the things that I've sort of noticed. And for those of you that may have been watching the kind of journey unfold, if you've also noticed it, comment in the comments below. I'm looking for feedback, as much interaction to sort of like help evolve the kind of journey going forward. So good enough, my one and done, I think has worked. I have learned a great deal by not overcomplicating things. As I've progressed through the 30 days, I've learned about thumbnails, I've learned about titles. There's probably still a lot of work to do in that space where I can actually refine them a bit more to make them a bit more engaging for people to actually see on a smaller device and want to click in and see the content. Now, I'm not proposing to actually necessarily go back and make changes to the 30-day outputs, because I know that that was my learn fast and grow experience going forward. So it's things that I'm going to put in place for the kind of content going forward to make sure that that is then reaching a wider audience on YouTube. And the kind of consistent progress of showing up every day has helped me see on a daily basis the improvements that I can actually make, and it took away the kind of overthinking, over analysing and stopping you from taking the action. So that's been really, really good. Rewatching the videos has shown me so many blind spots that I thought I had figured out some of it, but clearly there's a lot of areas for me to improve. And as the channel progresses and I provide more kind of content, hopefully you'll be also seeing the kind of improvements take place. And for me, the kind of key takeaways were there was a lot of ums and ems when I'm sort of like recounting my stories when I'm going into my free flow. And that is something that I know if I was doing editing, I could remove these excess words that are not adding any value. But at the same time, it's going to take time for me to actually do that editing to remove those words. And this is where part of me is like, how much additional value will it add removing these words as opposed through the editing process, as opposed to me learning that I've got, oh, I'm saying these words and doing a little count of how many times have I said it in a video. So then when I'm going into the next video, I am conscious, don't use the M and the and make sure that what I'm saying doesn't need to be necessarily repeated in the same sentence, but I did it again, and become aware of it while I'm actually recounting the story when I'm sharing the information. So it'll help me become a bit more concise and improve and learn. So then there is no need for editing going forward, but I did it again. So double count for that. The other thing is, in terms of my language, I use the word my in a lot of instances. It is my business, my life experience, my life story, my ex-husband, my financial decisions. And by using that word my, I'm actually taking ownership of the experience, the situation, the whatever the thing may be. And in actual fact, using the word the makes better sense, because then it sort of removes that kind of ownership, and you're able to see it from a more impartial, kind of distant kind of perspective. So the money decisions as opposed to my money decisions. So that is something that I'm going to definitely incorporate and be more aware of as I'm going along when I'm drafting the content for these videos. The other thing is facial expressions. You can see the hands going, but at the same time, you might see some eye rolling and looking away, and sort of like where I'm being, the cogs are starting to turn, and I've become even more aware of the fact that a lot of my facial expressions when I'm doing certain things is so much my dad. We look alike, but the kind of facial expressions are just becoming even more pronounced when I'm seeing the kind of videos replayed back. So so that's just something for me to be aware of. Not that I'm necessarily going to change things, but it's just like, oh yeah, I can definitely see my dad coming through. The other thing is the position of where my head is in the screen. Now, what I had been trying to do previously, because the way that my brain works, is I've got the two paintings in the background, and I was trying to align myself to be perfectly balanced between the two. And in this shot, and I'm probably making you aware of something that you may have not been aware of previously, but it's just part of the sharing. Let's just do it all. Now I am more aligned to this painting as opposed to this one, because by doing this, my head is actually covering the lampshade and the painting behind me, because there were certain videos that I was actually doing where I was my head was going and I could see the lampshade or the painting in the middle, and I was finding that distracting. And this is where now I'm coming to terms with the fact that my shoulders aren't perfectly balanced with the two paintings behind, but visually it makes the kind of space behind my head clearer, so then I don't have the kind of light fitting or the kind of middle painting in that space. Now, if for you the imbalance between these two paintings is worse, rather than seeing a little bit of the kind of light fitting behind, let me know in the comments below and we'll see what sort of works and what doesn't work, and we'll take it from there. The other thing is my voice. I've closed a couple of the doors within the kind of living room to create a more kind of, so the sound is sounding better. So when I sort of play this back on the TV, where you've got the kind of surround sound, it sounds less echoey than what the kind of earlier videos did. So I think sound-wise, this is working well. The other thing that I've been doing is putting the phone and the iPad on airplane mode, so then there is no kind of notifications coming through, and there is no kind of distractions. And I'm also unplugging my landline in the flat, so then there's not going to be, if I'm wanting to do a one and done, I don't want to get to like 9 minutes in and then I get a notification that distracts me, and then I'm having to stop, because I'm not, as I said, I'm not doing editing, so I'm not pulling everything together. It's just a one and done that I'm actually doing. The other thing is the speed of my voice. In certain instances, it speeds up And then in others, it can be more sort of calm and relaxed. And sometimes it's the emotion that's associated with what I'm actually describing that sort of brings a little bit more of the kind of speed and urgency to get through things, as opposed to being a little bit more kind of calmer and relaxed. And that is something that I'll be monitoring as time progresses and the kind of content that I'm actually sharing. Now, the other thing that I've sort of noticed is that consistency and also adding the the closed captions on the video. So when I'm playing it on my TV, it gives me the option, and on the iPad as well, it gives me the option to select closed captions. So then it sort of gives you the kind of words that I'm actually saying. Because of my Scottish accent, some of the words are coming through, like Buenos Aires had a strange kind of typo, and the same with the Inca Trail. So there'll be certain words that are just not going to pronounce, it's not even going to detect on that kind of sort of closed caption typing. So apologies for any non-English native speakers, or even native speakers that are not familiar with the Scottish accent, that might just make it a wee bit more kind of complicated for you. Hopefully you're gaining from the kind of content pre and post what I'm actually saying to make you understand and follow. I know I've got some relatives from Greece that have actually subscribed to the channel, so thank you for doing so. Hopefully you're able to sort of like follow the kind of, I know I speak fast, but you're able to sort of like follow, whether it is through the closed captions or what I'm actually saying. Or you might just be watching it 2 or 3 times and giving me a few extra views. So thank you either way. Thank you. The other thing is in terms of colouring. That's another thing. Depending on the time of day that I'm actually recording these, because some days I'm doing it earlier on in the morning, others I'm doing it in the afternoon. Today it's in the afternoon, glorious sunshine. The lighting might be a little bit better than other days, but what I've actually noticed myself is that if I'm doing it later on in the day, the kind of bags underneath my eyes, because I don't wear makeup, are less pronounced. So maybe an afternoon with a bit of sunshine is the kind of ideal way for me sort of like posting these. I'm not a vain person, but it's just something that I actually noticed. And because someone commented the other day when I was on the bus, and they says, oh, you've got really, really good skin. And I was like, up until November last year, 2023, I didn't even have a daily routine, which I know a lot of, especially females that may be watching this, you're absolutely aghast that Tanya has not had a facial kind of routine by cleansing and toning and all that kind of stuff. But it is something that I've actually incorporated since last November. I'm probably not as consistent as I should be, but I did notice the kind of bags under my eyes. When it's an earlier shoot, it's more pronounced, because obviously, even though I'm sleeping well, there are some disruptions during the evening and during the night on some nights, in which case then it's sort of like pronouncing that. So in terms of colouring, I've obviously got a number of these tops. I do love the logo. And I've got different kind of, like you'll have seen if you've watched some of the clips, I've got a number of different colours. And what I'm probably going to, I'm going to look for some feedback from you. Is there a special colour? Well, not a special colour. Is there a colour that you think suits me better? And then maybe we can actually have a bit of a theme. So like on a Monday, when I'm going to start doing the kind of self-reflection, maybe that is the kind of brighter colours that I'm going to do, the burgundies, the reds, the pinks in that space. And then on a Wednesday, it's going to be the tools, techniques, hints, the educational elements. So maybe that is the kind of greys that we're doing that. And then on the Fridays, it's going to be the life story continuation, hopefully some light entertainment within there. And maybe that is the kind of blues or the dark greens. So is there any kind of strong preference, or am I overthinking it? Am I getting into over-analysing position, and that is sort of like driving me to sort of think of something else? And so there's going to be a little bit more kind of experimentation over the next few weeks, where I get into the new format of the diary vlogs. The aim is to keep them I know I've veered. I said I couldn't stand to listen to my voice for 30 minutes, but there are a few vlogs where it's gone closer to the 30 minutes. I've managed to just get it under. The aim is to try and keep them to 15 minutes. This is, I know, is going to go a wee bit over today, but we are celebrating getting to day 30. So I think I'm going to take myself, I'm going to give myself a wee bit leeway. But going forward, I'm going to aim to be under the 15 minutes on the Monday. The Wednesday, depending on the topic, there might be certain weeks where we can bring it in under the 15 minutes, but I'm going to put a cap for 20 minutes. I don't want to veer off more than that, because I don't want to get to the point where I'm giving you 10 tips, because going back to 7-second short-term memory, 12 minutes long-term memory, and then into subconscious, we need the repetition. But if I'm giving you too much information, there is just too much to try and absorb. So what I'll do is I'll make sure that I'm actually giving maximum 3 tips. And then it gives enough time for us to repeat those 3 tips throughout a 15-minute, potentially max 20-minute time within the video to make it a value add for you. And then it gets it into the various kind of mindsets that you need in order for you to take the tools on board. And then in terms of the Friday, I'm just going to leave it free flow, because there'll be some weeks where it makes sense for me to sort of like have a shorter story, recounting my life story, and then there's others where it might make more sense for it to be a wee bit longer, depending, but it's definitely not going to be longer than 30 minutes. That is going to be my absolute limit. So we'll see how that sort of plays on. So a little bit of experimentation over the next few weeks. I'm also going to record I've got a trailer on the YouTube channel for any new subscribers, but obviously because I started that and I sort of recorded it, I think I was on day 6 when I recorded that trailer, because the kind of channel is evolving and it's the way that I'm going to be presenting the information is going to be slightly different going forward. I am probably going to do a new trailer for new subscribers, but then for anyone that have maybe sort of joined part of the 30-day journey, but they're only dipping in and out, so I might do a new one to sort of then sort of like explain the layout and format for the content going forward. So that's a kind of few kind of changes that are going to be happening going forward. I think I'm going to bring it to a wrap. So yay, we made it to day 30. Thank you for those of you that have watched all the content in particular, because it is helping with the algorithm to get it out to a wider audience on YouTube. For those of you that have dipped in and out, thank you as well, because that's helping with watch hour views. And hopefully there is something, we can sort of start sort of like sharing some kind of feedback, so we can actually become a wee bit more kind of interactive as a community. Now, one of the videos that I watched probably a few days ago now, it was talking about that once a channel gets to more than 500 subscribers, then people start feeling braver to actually comment and contribute. So as much as I'm going to keep asking, please give me feedback in the comments below. Do not feel obliged to do so. If you want to, please do feel, I'm going to be more than happy to receive your feedback and engagement, but there is no pressure. But just to keep that engagement and to keep making sure that I'm sort of like putting the audience at the forefront of this going forward, because I want to grow the channel in terms of being able to impact people. And I appreciate that some of you might just want to come for the Wednesday as opposed to the Monday and the Friday, but others might just want to sort of come along for the ride. So thank you very much, and go out and seize the day. Have the most amazing day. And remember, there's always choices in life, so choose wisely. Until tomorrow, bye.